Lazevo likes to talk about life while he's shooting people in the face. Lazevo.
What is going on, everybody? It's Lazevo here, and this video is not going to be so much about the gameplay, although I did intentionally select it for a reason. I've kind of been holding on to this gameplay for a while, and I think it fits in, or at least I think I can tie it into what I'm going to talk about here. There's been something really big going on in my life that I haven't really talked to you guys about, and obviously you can tell from the title of this, that's been my divorce. Like I said, I'm 30 years old and I've had some life experiences. This is like the biggest life experience that I've ever been through. For sure, one of the more negative things I've been through, for sure. I figured I should talk to you guys about it. It's probably, I guess, one of the biggest reasons that I got into commentating. I know I had thought about making videos and putting them on YouTube for a long time, and probably the catalyst that actually got me to go ahead and go follow through with it and get started was the fact that this past January, my now ex-wife came to me and said that she was going to file for a divorce. And it's interesting. It's funny. Like most divorces, I guess, happen in January, or most filings, and that's kind of an interesting stat. But I think the reasoning behind it is most people think, if I can make it through the Christmas holiday, maybe things will be different. Or at the flip side of that is I'm just going to get through this Christmas and do the family thing, and then I'll file for divorce later. So it's interesting. They said that more so than any other month, January has the highest divorce filing rate. But anyway, my wife had came to me. Or my ex-wife had came to me in January and said she was going to get a divorce. So let me start off at the beginning, I guess. We got married after she graduated college. We got engaged, and this would be our wedding was June 17th of 2006. And at the time, we had been dating for a while. It must have been close to 4 years that we had been dating when we got married. And we had met in college. We both went to the same school at the time, and everything just sort of felt right. It was like I was graduating. It was my last semester of college. She just so happened to be transferring to a different college that was downstate, where I was going to be moving for my job, and it just sort of fell into place. It seemed right. It was still a little long distance, right after college, because I was working in Detroit, and she was living in Saginaw, Michigan, going to school, which was, it's a couple hours north. And, but it was manageable. A couple hours it's not ideal for a relationship, but it's manageable. So it felt like a really strong coincidence of like, hey, this is pretty cool that this is how it worked out. And we were able to make it work, and, we sort of did everything the right way. I wanted to make sure that I felt like it was right. I wanted to make sure, like, we got a house. Like I went out and got a house because I didn't want to get married and live in an apartment. So prior to us getting married, I made sure that I had a home for us to live in, and we didn't live together before we were married. That's really rare these days, but it kind of goes back to, I got some deep faith that I haven't really brought up to you guys too much, but one of my beliefs is, that you shouldn't live together before you get married, and I think there's statistics that actually back that up. I know I'm like on the wrong end of that stat, so you guys can take it for what it's worth, but there's some interesting stats out there about the likelihood of having a successful marriage when you live together before you're married as opposed to when you don't. And anyway, I kind of stuck to that, and we sort of felt like we did everything the right way. And come June of 2006, we actually got married, and it was, things were great. We were, I guess college sweethearts or something. I don't know what the right word is, but everything just felt right. She had really wanted to get married for, about the previous 2, maybe even 3 years before that. She was really wanting a ring, and I can remember there was one Christmas where I just wasn't ready, and she said, I don't know, maybe it was her birthday, but she said like, I said, what do you want for your birthday? And she said, I want a ring. And I was like, well, that's not going to happen. I'm not quite ready for that yet. And then she's like, well, then you might as well get me an ironing board or something. So me being a little bit of a jackass that I am, I actually got her the ironing board. And the funny part about that story was her grandmother thought it was like the most awesome gift in the world. She was like, oh, that is so cool. Like, he must really care for you. Like, she thought that was great. But my ex didn't see the humor in it. Anyway, things went well for the first couple years there, and she ended up taking a job that required a lot of hours, and not only was it a lot of hours, but it was offset to my schedule. She basically worked like second shift. She was involved with high school athletics and had to be at the school, from the time that school ended until the last event or sporting event or practice was done at the school. And so that required like some odd hours. I work basically, 8 to 5, and then she would be, more along the lines of like 2 to 10 or something like that. So there wasn't a whole lot of time for us, and that's probably a mistake looking back on it. If you don't spend time with someone, you're going to sort of lose whatever connection you might have. And so, for any of you out there in relationships or maybe even just friendships, I would say focus on the time that you put into it, because I think that's really important. And that just kind of goes into putting in the effort to making it work. So getting back to my story, about 3 years after we were married, she approached me and basically informed me, that she wasn't really happy with the way things were going, and that she kind of needed a break. And this was kind of, at the time, that was just like sort of a shock. I figured that it wouldn't come so quickly when it did. It's not like we were fighting or anything, but it just sort of was like a bombshell dropped on me at the time. And she actually moved out. She moved out of the house for I think about 3 months maybe. She wasn't sure if she was going to come back. She went and lived with one of her friends, and she just basically took some time off from the relationship. And during that time, I basically lived at the house by myself, and I sort of felt like it couldn't end without me trying to do everything I possibly could. And that was a feeling that I've always had. Like, I don't give up on anything. And so my opinion was, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make this work. And if it does or if it doesn't, I want it to end knowing that I did everything in my power to try and make it work. And so I actually convinced her to go to counseling at this time, and we did. So we went to counseling for a few months, and we did everything the counselors told us to do. And there was a lot of reading material, supporting books like The 5 Love Languages, which is a great book. I'm not going to get into all the details of that right now. I can do that in a later video if you're interested, but it's really it's really a neat book. It's an interesting topic. Anyway, we did everything we said we were going to do, and things got better. We were both working really hard at it and doing everything we were supposed to do. And sure enough, things got better. I think, again, that goes back to the effort you put in is going to be the result that you get. And so things got better. She moved back into the house, and about maybe 6 months after that, things were still going well, and we decided we were going to start a family. And so we started trying to have a kid, and sure enough, like the first month rolls around, and boom, we got, we're pregnant, and we got the bun in the oven, and one's on the way. And we were both really excited. And that's an interesting thing too, because when my daughter was born, that sort of changes the dynamic of your whole relationship. Now there's like a whole nother person that's involved. So not only were we struggling to find time for each other between her job and my job, but now you have another person that's taking up a huge time commitment, and that just makes it even more difficult. So if you're struggling in a marriage, I don't suggest having a kid, because I think that's just added responsibility that's going to make it even more of a struggle. But anyway, so we have the kid. About a year later, she she's sort of back in the same boat. She's get this, the feeling of she's not happy anymore, and that's pretty much the only reason that I got for why she was going to go through with it. And this time she wasn't open to doing the counseling thing or anything. It was, in her mind, it was done, and it's really sad to me because I never envisioned myself being divorced. I never wanted to be divorced. My parents have been married over 30 years. They're not. I was really fortunate growing up to have that same thing. And the thing you got to remember about divorce is it doesn't have to be two-sided. It can be something that just comes from one person. If they decide they're not interested anymore, then they don't have to be there. They're not a prisoner. They can make their own decisions in life. So anyway, doing these commentaries and getting started on my YouTube channel has been a really nice break from things. Kind of taking my mind off things, and from that standpoint alone, it's been sort of a blessing. I really have fun doing it. I always wanted to try it, and it sort of, I guess, one of the good things that's came from this divorce is I've actually just went out and did it. I wanted to just have that distraction to kind of keep my mind off what was going on with me in life right now, and it's been good for that. So yeah, I figured, I know it's kind of a little Debbie Downer video, but just wanted to tell you guys what's going on. I like, you guys are a huge part of my life now, and I want you to be connected with what's going on with me. Going back to this gameplay, the reason I picked it is because if you notice, at one point we were down, I think, 173 to 127, and we were able to stage a comeback and pull out this victory. And I think that life is all about ups and downs. You're going to have good and you're going to have bad. The thing you got to do is stick it out. You got to work hard and never give up. And I think that just know that when you're going through it, it's not the end of the world. Things will get better. I know Woody's Gamertag has a saying. He related it to someone having thoughts of suicide, but I think it applies in that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. The sadness, the depression, whatever you're going through is not permanent in life. It's strikes and gutters, it's ups and downs, whatever you want to call it. So, this is definitely one of my downturns, but things are behind me now, and I'm looking forward to what's going to happen in the future, going into this unknown single fatherhood thing that I got going on right now. So anyway, guys, I know, like I said, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but I really do appreciate you guys listening. And if any of you are going through something, just know that somebody is or has been or will be at some point going through the same things that you're going through, and you're not alone out in the world. And just hang in there, stick it out, and stage a comeback just like this gameplay. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Catch up with you later.